Okay, we'll turn it over to questions about Oklahoma. Greg Hunter.
Okay, Coach. Then with Oklahoma, what do you see from the Sooners?
Well, I think the biggest thing is they're a very veteran team. They've been in the program, and they run a really good offense. They don't have a bunch of young guys. They don't have a bunch of portal guys. They've got a whole bunch of guys that had a heck of a year last year and came back to try to have a better year this year, I would assume.
Questions for Coach? Please use the raised hand feature. Greg, go ahead with a follow-up.
So, Coach, your club, confidence level for you guys, you sort of addressed that a little bit post-game, but where are you guys confidence level-wise right now?
I thought we really competed the Baylor game. In this league, it's so close. Teams are so close, and a missed shot here, a missed free throw, a difficult call. There's a lot of things that can decide games because they're all so close. And they made a tough shot at the end of the game, and we didn't, and we missed free throws again down the stretch. So that's an area that hopefully we can get a whole lot better at here.
Justin Jackson.
Hey, Coach, on Oklahoma, it just seems kind of weird. They lead the league in shooting, but they're one of the lower scoring teams in the league. I'm guessing it's kind of a deliberate offense. Obviously keeps them in a lot of games. Their 4 losses or 5 losses have been by an average of like 3 points. Can you just kind of speak to that a little bit? How they can be a really good shooting team, but not score a lot of points.
Well, I think Porter does a great job. He's done a great job everywhere he's ever been, and that's their style of play. That's the way they play the game. As I know you're aware, there's a lot of ways to play the game.
Sure.
Some people like to play it really fast. Some people like to play it slow. Some people, are somewhere in the middle. And he's probably as good as there is that we have in college basketball at slowing the game down to their pace, making people defend for an extended period of time. So they're difficult to play, but the biggest thing to me, Justin, is their experience. They've got a lot of older guys. They got some guys that transferred in a year ago or 2 years ago. They've got guys that have been in a program. They understand what Porter wants done, the way he wants it done.
I'm guessing then, if we're kind of talking about their use of the shot clock, it's kind of a situation where you guys have to be just as good late in the shot clock, in position, that kind of stuff, as you do at any other point in the shot clock, I would guess, right?
Well, I think that's the purpose of playing a little slower is to make people guard longer.
Right.
Till someone has a breakdown. We haven't really had to play against that a whole lot to this point.
Yeah, it's an adjustment. Yeah.
Our guys, I think, know what's coming. I mean, we've watched enough film. We watched film yesterday. We went over what they like to do and really their strengths. When you play like that and you have guys who really pass the ball well, they really pass the ball, which is becoming a lost art in our game. And secondly, they're really good shooters. When you got a 6'10" guy that can step out and make shots and extend the floor, it makes it harder, makes it a lot harder. And then you try to try to switch some things out, and then he ends up, you know, with the smaller guy on his back, and he's very good at that as well.
And then one last one, coach, just obviously taking this team back out on the road, where it struggled, you know, after the new year, the struggles at home. Is this maybe kind of a reset moment, taking this team back out on the road, or is there anything with that at all? Can you feel confident taking this team out on the road, I guess is the question.
I think this team is going to be a good team. I mean, I think it's going to be a team that's an NCAA tournament team, a team that's going to compete in this, the hardest league in the country, and compete very well. In some cases, we're very young. In some cases, we have new guys, and we have some veteran guys. But I think everybody has a tendency to forget the guy who runs the deal for us, the guy who is our captain, our guy who gets everybody where they're supposed to be, is Keedy, and he hadn't been healthy.
Right.
He misses a couple games. I think he's starting to get, you know, healthy and be, you know, Keedy again. But I mean, he took a heck of a lick now, you know, and I mean, he's not a guy who's just going to get a little bump and say, "Hey man, I'm hurt." You know, he's a tough guy. So, you know, I think, you know, when you take a look at a lot of things, you know, I think Eric's adjustment to this league isn't like those other leagues he played in. This is a hard league. It's a hard league. It's officiated differently because of that, and should be.
Right.
You know, so I think it's an adjustment. I think it's an adjustment for a whole lot of our guys. And I mean, and the reality is, it isn't like we haven't competed. It isn't like we haven't had opportunities.
Right.
Not, obviously, you know, and everybody who pays attention knows we haven't made free throws. We've missed open shots, critical times. You know, and I think a lot of that is not knowing, not being sure. Is that, you know, do I shoot it here? Now the free throw thing, you know, I don't know why we can make free throws any other time we can't make free throws. Well, yeah, I do, because of the pressure of the situation. But I mean, you think there's a couple things where we're in control of the K-State game until, you know, a call happens and you know, and then the Oklahoma State game, we make a heck of a run to take the lead, and then that happens. I mean, we've been we're 0-4. We very well could be 3-1. It's just, I think, trying to take a bunch of guys that haven't played together. I think they're starting to. I think we're a whole lot better today than what we were back then.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to John Antonic.
Can you try to speed these guys up, or is that counterproductive when you try to do that?
Well, they kind of want you to. They want you to make a mistake.
Okay, so that kind of walls you in when you try to do that.
That's part of it.
Yeah,
They want to. They kind of lull you into, you know, and you kind of get, well, I'm gonna make a play, and then you try to make a play, and the next thing you know, they back cut you. You know, they do a great job. They really pass the ball, John, and that's a lost art in our game today. Everybody wants to dribble the ball, you know, and they don't bounce it much. You know, they pass the ball, and they know where to pass it. They know whom to pass it to. They know where guys are going to be, because they've run the offense for, what is this? This is maybe the third year. You know, you're talking about a team that's run their offense for 3 straight years. Think about all the practices, all the games. And you're talking about a team here who's just kind of put things together, trying to put things together. And we're getting better. I thought, we played and competed, I thought, very well against Baylor, and that's, we're getting better, and we're going to be really good. But it's apples and oranges, man. It's a team with tremendous experience, and I mean, they were an NCAA tournament team. They played well in the conference tournament. We're putting everything together, and then on top of that, then the guy who, we were counting on to kind of hold things together got a concussion. It's been one of those kind of years.
One more, you've had leads in 3 of the 4 conference games that you've lost in the second half. And I believe you go back to Xavier, I think it was the same deal. You had a second half lead. Can you take anything away from that with your guys?
I think it's different circumstances in all 3.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it happened. No, I don't want it to happen. But I think that's experience too. And the more experience we get, the more we understand what one another's going to do. I mean, how many times have we thrown the ball away when we thought a guy was going to zig, but he zagged? We don't know each other very well yet. And for, whatever anybody wants to say, think, or do, if they don't think that's the case, they don't know a whole lot about our game.
Greg Hunter.
Bob, you played a lot of 3 guards against Baylor, with Seth getting the most minutes he's gotten in his career. Is that just a circumstance of what Baylor was doing in their lineup, or is that something that you liked and you could see a lot more of going forward?
No, I thought we had an opportunity for somebody to make shots, and we didn't have anybody making shots, and Seth probably has been our most consistent shot maker. That's why he played longer than probably what he normally does. And that's why I think he'll continue to play, and probably continue to play more and more minutes.
Defensively, how is he? He, as you said, he makes shots. What do you think of his defense?
Well, if you take a look, Neil would probably like to have him as a running back. I mean, he's a strong, tough kid. And not only can he make shots, but he can guard. And I think because of his strength, and because of his tenacity, I think he's a guy who can guard a guard. He can also guard a forward. He's not going to guard many of the centers in our league, but he can guard guards and forwards. He may be our most versatile defender. Well, him and Keedy probably.